welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. I wanted to do a video on IDing the oyster mushroom. Y'all hear me talk a lot about it. You've seen me eat it, cook it. And normally when I show this mushroom, I'm just hunting, fishing, doing something like, oh, here it is, look what I found. So I'm gonna get the book out, and I think I have done an ID video back somewhere. I can't remember, and y'all, I'm like y'all, I'm not gonna dig back in there just to see if I did or not. It's too easy to film another video. And it's better for you just to see a more updated, newer video. I don't claim to be an expert on anything, plants or mushrooms. I have books, I do research. As I learn, I try to share that knowledge. So as I go through life making videos, I'm gonna learn more about things. So it's good to update, make newer videos. So what I'm looking for today, and I have finally found a mushroom, and I found a really good large specimen because we've had a lot of rain. Mushrooms are one of those things that when you start looking for mushrooms, after rain is the best time to be looking for mushrooms. The more it rains, the bigger they're gonna get, the more that's gonna be out there. So we're still early February. It's warm here in Mississippi at times. We have cold spells, but relatively it's fairly warm compared to the rest of the country. So what we doing is, I found mushrooms right over here on the bottom of this dead tree. So when you're looking for oyster mushrooms, they're gonna grow on dead trees. They're gonna grow where a tree has died, usually standing up, sometimes the log laying down, and they'll be anywhere from an inch to 6, 7, 8 inches. So let me show you these, and then we'll talk a little more about them. Now this right here is I think it is a sweet gum tree that died. I am not sure. I'm going by the twistiness of the grain and the bark, but you see it's a dead tree. It is broke off. So right here at the bottom, it is loaded. And I have found them on this tree before. So when I say how big they can get, y'all look at this one right over here. This mushroom right here, across it is at least 12 to 16 inches across. I'm gonna pick, this is already about a loose. This mushroom has gills under it. It will have a stem. You see this? Not much of a stem, but it will technically have a stem. These have turned a golden looking color. I think there are a couple of variations in the species. But gills, some of them are very white looking. This is gonna have a real fishy smell. Most of these, they call it an anise smell. This is growing all the way around on the ground, but it is feeding off of this dead wood. And these are like really large. So limber is, you know, big gills. I mean, they can be huge. Is this the best specimen to eat? Probably not. It's a little soft. It's a little soggy feeling. Some of them will be a little firmer, but it is still good to eat. I would definitely batter and fry, but you could saute it. So let me back out. We have looked at it pretty good. I mean, you can see this is growing off of the tree. And these are not perfect specimens, but this was the best I could find today. So as you pull these back, you see that this is technically a stem, and you see the bugs in there, little guy in there eating on that. So I'm slopping around down here in the water, filming this today. I'm gonna read a little bit about this. This is my Mushrooms of the Gulf Coast States. This is the best book that I have found that covers my area. It says on the cover Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida. So it's going to be relative to my region, and that's what you want wherever you're at. You need to get a book that covers literature and information from your area. If you want to learn to forage mushrooms, find a Facebook group that is active in your area. That there's people from your local state and your local general area, so that when they start finding things and they're sharing pictures of it, that you know, oh, this is out right now. That will help you, because with plants, mushrooms, there's certain times of the year that you're going to look for certain things. Right now, no chanterelles. It's too cold for chanterelles. As it warms up, I have found lots of chanterelles in the spring. Usually dead summer, dries up, there's not very many. Again, in the fall, I start finding them sometimes, depending on the rain. So, you know, a Facebook group, you can kind of tell when you need to look for, not to mention you will find pictures people will be sharing of all different way the species looks. So it'll help you identify that mushroom. And there are quite a bit of edible mushrooms out there. I don't think this one is medicinal. This book doesn't really cover medicinal values of anything, but it is Pleurotus ostreatus. Now, I butcher scientific names. Y'all already know this. Common name, oyster mushroom. It says the kelp can be 4 to 18 centimeters wide. I'm going to say 4 to 18 inches. This thing right here can be huge. It says convex oyster shell to fan-shaped surface, moist or dry, smooth, color variable, white to creamy white, buff, tan, or brown. The flesh is thick, firm, white, odor anise-like, fragrant, fruity, or not distinctive. Taste not distinctive. Gills decurrent. Close to substance, white, creamy white, or grayish white. Stalk lateral, rudimentary or absent, up to 3.5 centimeters long and thick when present. Usually tapered downward, solid, surface dry, white to dingy white. Often coated at least near the base with downy white hairs. Spore print is whitish to grayish or lilac. Now, y'all, I have never done a lot of spore printing. Last year, I've got me a piece of glass out of an old window and cut it, and I was going to get a white piece of paper and a black piece of paper and do some spore printing, and I never did do that. We may try to do some of that this year. Occurrence in groups or clusters on decaying hardwood, logs, stumps, or trunks, sometimes on conifers in the fall and winter. It's edible. Ostreatus means oyster, referring to the shape of the kelp. Pleurotus pulmonarius, not illustrated, is very similar and begins fruiting on hardwoods during summer and has more developed stalk, paler kelp, and often has short striations on the kelp margin. This I'm going to share. This is the pic that they've got in there. So that is another picture of what it looks like. And that is a little of what it says about it. So maybe this will help some of you ID a mushroom. Do not eat anything unless you're positive that's what it is. And I would recommend go to somebody that knows a little bit about foraging and say, hey, you think this is what this is? Taste, look. Because y'all, you need to be sure when you're experimenting with some of this stuff. I felt pretty confident, and with me, billettes, which is the kelp mushrooms growing under oak trees, this porous looking on the bottom, I've never eaten one because there's so many that look similar that I'm not sure, so I have not eaten them. Don't do anything like this unless you're positive of what you're looking at. But these oyster mushrooms, I'm doing this video because this is probably my favorite mushroom to forage. I love chanterelles. We have canned chanterelles. With mushrooms, when you're picking, pick all of it. Because it's going to go away. It ain't going to bump the spores out on the ground. But with plants, we urge you to pick by thirds. You a third, the animals a third, and a third to reseed itself. So that's kind of a rule of thirds, but with mushrooms, those rules do not apply because mushrooms are feeding off. Once that's gone, it's just gone. It may come back from spores, it may whatever, fruit again, the mycelium may be there, but that mushroom, it's not going to hurt anything to gather all of it. Like turkey tail mushrooms, if they're growing on a log and you want them for medicinal purposes, you can pick all you want. You don't have to leave it there thinking, well, I didn't want to get all of it. If it comes back, it's not going to be because you left some there. So I like these because you can saute them. I bread them and fry them a lot. I've not experimented with any other ways of cooking them. I'm sure there's several different ways that they can be cooked. Now with this mushroom, you do want to cook it. I know I got scolded for eating a jelly ear mushroom or wood ear. And that thing is, you can kind of eat that mushroom raw. A lot of people go, oh, don't do that. But it's like drinking water out of a creek. These times, and depending on where you at and where it's growing and all that, or whether it's safe, yes, that mushroom could have bacteria on it, just like this one could. That one's growing on the ground. One of the big thing is you don't know what bugs and creepy crawlers has been all over it, been already eating on it. And as big as these are, I know they've been there a while. When you pick this mushroom, you're going to want to really wash it good. I have put mushrooms like this one in a bag, put them in my refrigerator. In that mesh bag, they will dry in that refrigerator. I can wash them in that mesh bag. I'll plunge them up and down in a sink full of water or a bucket full of water or whatever, and wash them good. But those bugs will get up in those gills, and you want to get that out. But if you put them in the refrigerator and you're storing these mushrooms for, say, a month in the refrigerator and they dry out, they get real dry, you can rehydrate that mushroom by soaking it in a bucket of water. I usually keep an ice cream bucket, put a little water about 1 inch in the bottom, and slop that mushroom down in it. And in 10 minutes, you got a rehydrated mushroom. And then you can cook it and fry it. And I have done that, and they've been very good that way. So just some thoughts on IDing this mushroom. If I ramble around today while I'm looking and I spot any more, I'll get some more video. But so far, this is all I have found. There was another place back here that I had some growing, but they've already kind of wilted and went bad. You really can't even tell by looking at them what they are. But these things can get pretty big. Most of the time, they're going to be the size of your fist. You can look back in some other videos I have at IDing some of these mushrooms, but they're going to have a small stem. They're going to have gills. There is a similar, that is a death angel, that is a poisonous mushroom that is similar to this. It is growing on conifers mainly, which is pine trees and stuff like that. So with that being said, I don't pick oysters off of conifer trees. That eliminates me finding that mushroom, because that death angel does not grow on these hardwood trees. So any hardwoods, I found them on hickories. Whatever's a dead standing tree, that's what you're looking for, and you're going to find oyster mushrooms. The main thing, smell of it. Does it smell like fish? If it smells like fish, the chances are 90% chance you have got oyster mushroom, and it's very good to eat. So anyway, if I see another mushroom, I'll drop some clips into this video. Otherwise, thank y'all for watching Spirit of the Outdoors. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.